Well, howdy, everyone, and welcome to the Jason Wright Show's best Friday ever. This is just a little way to put a bow on the week. All right, and this is actually my second recording of this one because I got a little amped up the first time, and I don't ever want to put anything out there that makes you guys think, oh my God, what is wrong with Jason? Why is he so pissed? I'm not pissed, but I got this email from Jamie Will, who is the president and CEO of the Flow Genome Project, which was founded by Stephen Kotler, the guy that wrote Art of Impossible, oh goodness, The Rise of Superman. You guys have heard me talk about him. One of my favorite authors on human performance and in particular flow. And so I'm reading it, and he's talking about, I guess there was some, a retreat or workshop or something that he either held or whatever, and he just came away from it just completely disappointed. And here is why. Is because he was listening to these well-intentioned people that came there trying to figure out, how do we fix problems, right? I mean, that was the whole basis of this retreat, was to tackle big problems. And he said, essentially what you had was a bunch of, it sounds to me like academics and theory, what would you call that? A theoretician. Some people they were just spewing theories and ideas, and they were really, really good at defining the problem, redefining the problem, evaluating the problems, but no one was really doing anything to actually get out and solve the problems. And he used this analogy that I thought was so appropriate for what a lot of us are doing right now, myself included in a lot of instances. And it was this. He said, it was basically like the Tai Chi guy trying to go up against the MMA fighter. And the Tai Chi guy is really good at making the circles with their arms. And hey, I have nothing against Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a great practice for breath work and for calming your mind. It's great. But using it as a tactical defense against an MMA fighter who is trained in jiu-jitsu is probably not the best idea. And so here is the analogy he used that I think is just absolutely great. So I'm hijacking it. I'm ripping it off, but credit to Jamie Will. Well done. What we see going on right now in particular, the United States of America, you have a bunch of Tai Chi instructors going up against the real world that is an MMA fighter, and you're about to get punched in the freaking mouth. And in fact, you are getting punched. MMA guy will always beat the crap out of Tai Chi guy. You know why? Because MMA guy is a warrior that just punches a hell of a lot harder. And I'm here to tell you right now, as you look across the country and you see, and I don't even have to name the problems, most of you all can sit back, and if you really evaluate the things that are so maddening in America right now, and then you bring it into your own house and you go, wait a minute, why is our country coming apart over that? Well, here's what's going to happen. If you are one of the people in the camp of being up in arms over something that impacts a very small portion of people in the country, and you're completely incapable of focusing on the good that this country has to offer each and every one of its citizens, if you're completely unable to do that, and you're so focused on your own navel and your own existence and your own truth and your own feelings, then there is a shadow sneaking up behind you that is chiseled, is battle-hardened, and it's about to freaking take your damn head off. And that is the MMA fighter that is known as reality. Reality always wins. You can decide that your truth, you have looked and you have found your truth, and your truth says you can fly. Well, let me tell you something, friend. You go to a 10-story building and you take your truth of flight and you jump. Gravity doesn't give a damn about your truth. Reality is about to punch you in your freaking face and you're going to die. I think that we have reached a point in our nation in particular where we need to look up, see the horizon, and notice those around us. I saw a post from Adam Lane Smith, who's been on the podcast before, asking about why are so many marriages ending in divorce these days. And I said 2 words: self-worship. I'm not happy. My needs are not being met. Let me tell you something. If you are going to constantly rely on outside forces to be happy, to feel good about yourself, you're screwed. You're hosed. You're done. Because reality doesn't care. We see right now in this country where there are groups of people trying to redefine words, definitions, realities that have existed for millennia. They've been around forever, as long as human beings have been in existence. And now they're wanting to, over a short period of time, change all that because it fits their needs. They have discovered that reality, that the MMA fighter refuses to fight the way that they want the MMA fighter to fight. And so now they're telling the MMA fighter, no. You can no longer fight like that. I know we're in this cage called Earth and existence and society. I know we're in this cage and we've got to survive in here together. There are certain rules that we've all agreed upon. But you see, the thing is, I don't agree with the rules. So therefore, MMA fighter, I'm changing them. And you need to change too. Before you can get that out of your mouth, the MMA fighter of reality is going to punch you right in the face. And that's what's happening. And this is a warning to all of us. I don't care who you are. At the end of the day, reality always wins. There was one of my favorite scenes in Mad Men where Don Draper is talking to these 2 hippie beatniks, and they're pontificating some of their idealistic garbage, and one of them says something about the universe, the universe man or whatever, and Don Draper says, the universe is indifferent. And one of the other guys, one of the beatniks goes, wow, man, why'd you have to say that? Because Don Draper realizes the reality that the universe is indifferent. Now, you can change the nature of the universe in which you live with some good tips and habits, and that's what I try to teach in my courses. But I've got to tell you, I thought that was the greatest illustration of what is happening. And so, and this is not just to the big headline issues, okay? If you are someone that is grossly overweight, the reality has been punching, the MMA fighter that is reality has been punching you, and is going to continue to punch you until you realize you cannot defy the MMA fighter of reality. You got to get your crap together and start making better choices. If you're a drug addict, I'm sorry that you had a bad time growing up. Sorry your dad didn't give you enough hugs, your mom didn't give you enough hugs. Mine didn't either. But you know what? The reality is this. MMA fighter could care less about your mom and dad. Doesn't even care about you. You better figure out what your reality is inside you, that you are bigger, better, and able to overcome your addictions with help. All the help you need, it's there, but you got to find it because reality doesn't care. 2 + 2 will always equal 4. You jump off the 10-story building, you will always go splat. You try to defy reality, reality will punch you in the face. Your marriage isn't working out? Okay, well, here's the reality. You don't love your partner more than you love yourself. You don't meet yourself. You don't meet your partner in the middle, try to outlove one another. You're constantly worried about what have you done for me? When I said I do, what I really meant was I do expect you to meet my needs. I do expect you to always show me what romance is. I do expect you to provide for me. I do expect you to make me feel good about myself. I do expect you to have sex with me anytime I want to, irregardless of how tired you are, how exhausted you are. I do expect you to do these things. And if you don't, I'm out. Well, guess what? The MMA fighter of reality is going to come up and punch you in the freaking throat with a divorce, with kids that are maladjusted, with a home that is broken and destroyed. That's the reality. And let me tell you something, a lot of these things that we gripe and piss and moan about each and every day, if things keep going the way they are, I was reading here, it was actually in this same article that I thought was pretty like, oh my goodness, this is really eye-opening, that I wanted to share with you guys. This author, he wrote this about America. Peter Zeihan, it's Zeihan, Zeihan, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. A global strategy guy who advises the CIA, DOD, and like-minded folks just came out with his new book, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. And in a nutshell, his thesis is this. Wait for it. You ready? Lean in. Get in. Just turn your radio up for this. We've enjoyed the last 75 years of the American peace, and it's never coming back. For the rest of our lifetimes, life will never be cheaper, richer, more abundant, and more peaceful than it has been so far in ours, ever again. Read that a few times. Then Jamie Will, who wrote this email, went on to say, it took me the first third of Recapture the Rapture to gently make this case in 2020. That if you're a boomer, Gen Xer, or millennial, we grew up in a post-war bubble that is 100% going to pop. But we can't tell because it's all we've ever known. Let me tell you something. So what do you do? Well, Viktor Frankl gave us a little bit of insight into this during his time in a Nazi concentration camp, which essentially we've got people right now living in this air-conditioned, beautiful car driving, big screen TV watching world. They compare that with basically the Auschwitz that Viktor Frankl found himself in. But while he was in that time, so those of you who consider your existence that kind of a hellhole, well, this applies to you too. It's all relative. He came up with the conclusion, if one cannot change one's circumstances, then they must change themselves. There are a lot of you out there, and I'm the same. I've done it in my own life, where you try to use your Tai Chi on the MMA fighter of reality only to get your ass knocked into the dirt. I have been there, my friends. And so I'm here to tell you, the best thing that we can do, if we can't change our circumstances, is to change ourselves. And that's going to require taking our eyes off our own navels, to get up, dust off our knees, and stop worshiping at the altar of self. And looking out and saying, how can I best work within the realm of this reality? How can I make some moves to where this guy that's called reality doesn't punch me in the face? And I can tell you this. You may think that you can yell and scream loud enough to get the entire host of MMA fighters known as reality to bow to your will. But let me just ask you, do you really think that Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, do you really think that you would ever find him in the octagon with some Tai Chi fighter saying, Chuck, it's not fair that you're stronger than me. Chuck, it's not fair that you're taller than me. Chuck, it's not fair that you can kick harder than me. Chuck, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. And by the way, I don't agree that you should be able to use your right hook. I don't agree that you should be able to use your sweep kick. I don't agree that you should be able to grapple. Instead, you need to do these things because my truth says that that is exercising a privilege you have over me. So therefore, you cannot fight with those benefits. That would not be right. I'm pretty sure Chuck Waddell would walk over and punch that person in the face and win the bout. And that's what's happening right now. If you think that you can win the battle of addiction, of porn, of alcohol, of a bad marriage, finances, if you think you can win that battle by bitching and moaning about reality and trying and hoping that if you bitch and complain loud enough that somehow the universe will start to shift and meet your needs, you're wrong. It's about as likely as getting Chuck Liddell to abide by all those rules in the octagon. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So on this best Friday ever, here's what I would like each and every one of you to do. Stop and think to yourself, am I the Tai Chi fighter, or am I going to prepare myself to be someone that can go in the octagon against the MMA fighter that is freaking reality? Because let me tell you something. Reality's coming. And it's throwing kicks and punches and chokeholds. And it isn't stopping. It's coming. But if you can look inside and instead of bowing to who you are, instead of trying to make your every womb become an obligation of society, your every whim, an obligation of society to respect and fulfill your needs. If you can stop that garbage for a minute and go, how can I help someone else? Who's hurting I can help? Who can I make feel better? If you can take the gaze off of your navel and into the eyes of someone else, game changer. Game changer. Don't be the Tai Chi. Practice Tai Chi. Good stuff. Tai Chi's great. Patrick Swayze does it in Roadhouse out by the barn, out by the water in front of his barn whenever he's doing the Tai Chi. And you know, but the thing is, you're probably not going to be able to rip anybody's throat out like Patrick Swayze does. Because Patrick Swayze, he's got some Tai Chi moves, but he's also got something else going on. That's how he ripped that dude's throat out. If all you can do is Tai Chi, like the folks at the assisted living places around noon or whatever, if that's all you got, Chuck Liddell's coming and he's swinging. He's going to hit hard. So that's it for the best Friday ever. I want you to get some skills, fight, and be prepared for reality because it's coming. So I'm Jason Wright. This is the best Friday ever. Hey, until we meet again, please, by all means, don't forget to endeavor to improve always in all ways. And also go out to jasonwrightnow.com and subscribe to the Vitruvian Letter. That's just where I encapsulate all the things I'm trying to do to improve always and always. Until we meet again, I am out.